is on the shaft, and you want to fully seat this shaft because you don't want it breaking by just holding on to a few threads. You want to screw it all the way down till it stops, and you can just screw it down by hand. And this is a 12mm jam nut, and it uses a 19mm wrench to lock it down. However, a 3/4 inch works just fine as well, we have found. So if you don't have metric this large, a 3/4 will work. You just want to stick that over the jam nut and then just turn it clockwise until it locks down. Now you want to get on this tight, but you don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on the assembly. So what I always do is I grab it with my right arm and hold it very stiff while I'm tightening it really tight. It just puts less stress on the whole reverse lockout assembly, okay? And the lock washers hold it secure. Now, one thing to note that we talked about earlier is that if you have a shift knob that doesn't have a locking jam nut like the ones MGW sells, and it just screws on and tightens down hand tight, you would want to take this at this point, even before you put the console on, screw the knob down tight as you can get it, then take your wrench and break the jam nut loose, orient the logo where you want it, and lock the jam nut tight. Then take the shift knob off, put your console back on, and then when you screw the knob on, it'll be aligned correctly. With the MGW knobs that either have a jam nut or a locking screw, that step is unnecessary. Okay, now that we have the shift knob shaft mounted, we're ready to put the center console back on. MGW provides a little black rubber washer that will probably be on the shaft in the kit, but if it isn't or if it falls off, you just slide that over top and it seats right there on the lip. That puts a cushion for the little plastic cup that the factory shifter has on the boot. With that in place, shift the car back into 4th gear and start the console in and just get the shaft started, and then you want to reach forward and plug in your one connector from underneath. And I always make sure that it's plugged in by hitting the trunk release button just to make sure that the power is to it. Then you have the 2 slots in the front. You just reverse the procedure we did earlier. Make sure they're in, working from the front to the back. You just want to make sure that you are snapped in securely. Then you pop it back into neutral, push the boot back down, and you're ready to put the shift knob on. Okay, we're going to fit an MGW composite race knob onto the MGW shifter for this application. And MGW provides a custom rubber boot insert for the base car's boot that has the real wide mouth. This fills that hole gap very cleanly and allows us to put the shift knob on without that unsightly hole in there. Now, if you have one of the upgrade packages or a Boss 302 that has the real skinny boot, your factory shift knob will thread on just fine without any boot. And we also sell, which we'll show in a little bit here, some custom shift knobs that MGW is going to offer. Now, MGW recommends, if you're ever putting an aluminum billet shift knob onto any shifter, to eliminate any rattling or buzzing of the knob, we recommend you just take some white plumber's Teflon tape and actually put a one thin line of threads on the threads prior to screwing the shift knob on, just like that. Okay, here's our MGW composite race knob. It's CNC machined all billet and polymer knob. Comes in triple chrome finish to match the accent bezels, and we also have a satin finish for some of the cars that have the satin finish interiors. Screws on. Screw it down all the way until it stops, and if you're lucky it'll line up. If not, you just back it off because it does have a locking screw. There we go. And just make sure the reverse feature is working. You just push down, over, and up. And as you see with the nice spring back, as soon as you pull it out, it pops right back to the center and pops up for you real nicely. Kind of work the boot around and it'll get itself situated pretty nicely.